Alright, I'm here with another one of these videos where I kind of just recount some stories of when I got some cool and interesting stuff for very cheap. So today I thought I would challenge myself into doing games that I got that are expensive, that I got for less than $10. So a lot of these videos are from trades, I got something for cheap, or from bundling and stuff up, but these are flat out, I went and I bought these things for less than $10 in a variety of places, flea market, Goodwill, thrift store, garage sales. So I figured I would challenge myself this way, and I found, I think, 9 games here, all pretty interesting stuff. And we'll be going off of the price charting value. I've come to realize price charting has been getting a little bit conservative lately, which is fine, but these might be worth a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on condition and everything. So I will jump into this. First one here from 2 years ago. Really cool game, actually. Resident Evil Gaiden on Game Boy Color. So a lot of people don't even know this game exists. This is a really cool Resident Evil game for Game Boy Color. It goes into like almost like, you know, turn-based battles when you encounter any kind of zombie or anything. It's a really cool idea, and it's a really cool game. It takes place on a ship, so it beat Resident Evil Revelations to that. And yeah, really cool game, really interesting game. And went to a garage sale. They had a bunch of game stuff out. And this had a little sticker on the case, just like this, that they only wanted 50 cents for this. Price charting right now has this game at $175 in this condition, just like this. So 50 cents into $175. Crazy deal. Couldn't believe it. You know, it was worth considerably less then, and I was still really excited because it's just a cool game. It's not one I ever see. I don't think I've ever seen a copy of it until I encountered that copy. So, really good one. Next one I'll go into here. This one's kind of fun. So this is just an old game store purchase, kind of a proof that stuff has just kind of gone crazy in a lot of ways. So the game is for the Wii, Rhythm Heaven Fever. I like Rhythm Heaven a lot. This one I don't like the motion control. I feel like it's a little bit harder to do Rhythm Heaven motion control stuff when you versus using like a stylus on the DS touchscreen. But still fun game. I got this game at a game store if you're in Ohio area. I think they're in other states too, called Buybacks. You probably know this place. It sucks pretty hard. But I got this game for $6 back in the day. I would want to say 2013 probably I got this. And yeah, really great find. Price charting now has it at $149 in complete condition, which mine is. And that's just wild to me. I can't believe that. But it is a lower print run game. I believe it came out 2011, so that was pretty late release into the Wii lifespan. Obviously a low print game. So yeah, one to be on the lookout, and a good one. But yeah, $6 on that one. Really nice find back in the day. I would have had no idea that it would ever get that expensive, because that was back in the day when like no one thought Wii games were going to get expensive, because games were not that expensive. Like our biggest games back then, most expensive game was like that we thought about was like Little Samson, and that game was maybe $400. So just shows how things have changed in a bizarre way. So this one is a garage sale find, price at $1. Complete. Castlevania Order of Ecclesia. I can't not believe how expensive these, mainly the later 2 DS Castlevania games have got. I'm going to imagine they'll do a Castlevania, they did the Castlevania Advance Collection. I'm going to imagine they'll do a DS collection, release these, so the price might go down. But I got this for $1 at a garage sale. Walked up to this garage sale, and it was like all baby clothes and stuff. It was like one of those garage sales where I'm like, there's not going to be any games here. And then, you know, amidst the baby clothes was one video game for $1, and it was this. So price charts has it at 110 right now, which is crazy. And overall, just a good find. So next one we're going for here was a flea market find. So this guy had out 2 NES games. Yeah, I think he wanted $2 for this one. I'm going to show, but then I think he had Mario Brothers Duck Hunt that he wanted like $10 or something. This was obviously the better game, and he had just no idea. But unfortunately, this game does have like the pin kind of loose or whatever. Like one of the clips broke, was already broken, so a little unfortunate. So it does open up a little bit, but. Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Hillsfar. So this is not really my type of game. I don't like Dungeons & Dragons. I've never cared about it. But for $2, Price Charts has this one. This is the highest one on our list, so I should have logically done this last, but you know how I do these things. Price Charts has this one at $242, so quite the increase from $2. And yeah, just an uncommon NES game. Very, you know, random find to have. If your two NES games were Mario Duck Hunt and Hills Far. Crazy one. And I'm thinking of keeping the NES train going here. So this was a funny find. So I went out to this town that I would normally never go to, but they said they were going to have like a game convention type thing, like a game kind of meet convention. And I had been to this person's conventions he's done before, and they were always pretty good, but this one was an absolute flop. I'm going to guess this person doesn't watch these videos. It was just I'm sure he realized it was a flop. There were maybe like 5 vendors there. It was like $5 to get in, and I was in and out in like less than 10 minutes. It was an absolute flop, and I'd driven like 90 minutes to be out in that area. So I went looking around for games, trying to salvage the day, and I get to a Goodwill, and I see they actually have cartridge games, which this is like one of the last times I've ever seen cartridge games in a Goodwill. This was 2017, which was, I like to think that convention was probably, that was like the low for retro game collections. There was definitely a lull collecting, and there was definitely a lull there, and I think that's why no one was at that thing, because it was just maybe, you know, 2016, the NES boom had kind of died out, and people were selling off, and it just didn't work out. But they had some cartridge games, good stuff, you know, nothing crazy. Tetris and Mario Paint and stuff. But mixed in there was a game that probably no one would ever realize, and I didn't really realize this was a pretty rare game at the time either. But mixed in there for $2 at the Goodwill was Jimmy Connor's Tennis, which just another, I would say this game's flat out rare. It's not one you ever see. And this is one, I paid $2 for it, and it's worth $144 in loose cart condition. This one's really nice, and it just a strange find. I can't quite explain it, but mixed in with the, you know, random common NES games, Super Nintendo games, was this game here. So, and one of the last times I've ever found NES games at a Goodwill, which I used to find them all the time. One last NES game here, and then I'll be done with the Boomer games. Am I right, guys? This is a funny one. There was once this place, it was, I guess, like an antique store, but the guy was this kind of gross guy. He would, I'm not going to say the name of it. It's closed, but I'm not going to say the name of it. But what he would do is he would go to the wealthier neighborhoods and root through their trash and then sell the things in their trash at the store. And it wasn't as gross as it sounds, but it was still pretty gross place. But, I mean, nothing was like filthy. He wasn't like digging through food trash, but he would just go through their trash, things they left out on the curb, and pull this stuff out. And this was apparently one of those games that he found in the trash. Felix the Cat on NES. So not quite as expensive as the last games, but price charting has it at $104 for loose cart condition right now. And he sold this for $2 to me. So this is a fun platformer with Felix the Cat. Not exactly the most relevant character now, or probably even then, but fun platformer. I believe it's by Hudson Soft, and it is just a good time. I wouldn't recommend it for $104, but if you can get it for $2 from a guy who sells you garbage, I would recommend doing that. I feel like even if you don't want to play the game, it's probably a wise investment to buy that for $2. But what do I know? Where should we go next here? This is a funny story. This is the first complete in box N64 game that I ever got, and it led to the illness that still is going to this day. So this is a funny one. So I'll put it down first so you have a visual. Hey You Pikachu, complete in box. It's a cool one to have complete in box because it has the whole microphone and the whole thing there, and everything's in there complete, looking pretty good. The box has a little bit of wear, but whatever. Not one I see very often complete in box. And so what happened here is this was 2011, so this was my first year collecting. And I went to one of my local game stores. They have their, you know, different chains. I went to one of them, and some people had just come in with some trade-in, and this was amidst their trade-in. And they, I saw it there, and they just had a small stack. They just wanted to trade it in and buy, I think, a new release game at the time. God knows what it was. And then just leave. So I was like, is that up for sale? I didn't at the time realize it was part of their trade-in, but I was like, is that up for sale? And they're like, yeah, as soon as we get this trade-in, we'll price and everything, and we'll see what we can do for you. I was like, okay, I'm interested. And then the guy, once those people are all done with their trade and they're out of the store, they bought their whatever, the guy's like, Okay, yeah, you want this one? Okay, yeah, let me scan it real quick. And it still had the original price sticker from the store. You know, they must have bought it there a couple years ago. It was like yellowed. The price sticker was gross. It was yellowed. They still had that original sticker there for $8. And even then, this game was worth a lot more than $8. But they had that original sticker for $8 from the game store. The guy just like rang that price up, sold it to me, and he's like, "I can't believe this is only $8." And then I paid for it. And then someone in the back, another employee, was like, "It shouldn't be." And I was like, I'm just gonna leave now. But yeah, they messed up, and I wasn't even thinking until I heard that. It shouldn't be, because I didn't realize that that was an old sticker at first. I was like, okay. But yeah, funny story. First N64 box game I have. Price Trading now has this 112, but it's a fun one to have complete in box. Not a great game by any means, but fun story, fun one to have complete in box. Where should we go next? This is a good one. Garage sale find. There was at one point, and I will put the game out again. There was at one point, this guy, he doesn't do it anymore, but he, I believe, did like storage unit cleanouts, and then he would have like 2 huge garage sales. Like he had a full, 3-car garage. He had a 1-car garage in the back, and then he had this huge tent in his backyard where there was just all this stuff. And his garage sales were always pretty good. I was always scoring there, doing well. I recognized the address every time, and I'm like, heck yeah, this is going to be a good weekend. Because I was always doing well with this guy. And I walk up to his garage sale, and this was just sitting there. He wanted $1 for it. The game Elemental Gimmick Gear for the Dreamcast. This is one of like the only classic kind of traditional RPGs, like old school type RPGs, and it's pretty interesting. But yeah, this is just funny. It was just sitting there for $1. This guy is done with all the storage unit stuff. I believe he liquidated like all his stuff, which he had a lot of junk. But yeah, I was able to. The same day I got a Game Gear, but the blue Game Gear I paid $1 for, and he was just like, he would just fire sell this stuff off. He didn't care. I think he was more interested in like electronic equipment and stuff, but he was definitely not paying attention to games having some values. But yeah, just a funny story there. Paid $1 for that. This is Price Charting has it now at 114, so pretty good deal. And then one that's not quite $100. I bet if you looked on eBay, this would be over $100 in complete condition and in good shape, but not quite $100. But $94. So everything else has been over $100, but this was $94 for this one here. Really good game. One of my favorite GameCube games. FZero GX. So this is a funny flea market story. I was out at the flea market. The one guy who was like the biggest competition I had, I'm friendly with him, talked to him or whatever. He tipped me off like, hey, I already have the game, but someone over here has FZero GX. And the game was maybe like $40 game at the time. And he's like, yeah, he has FZero GX. I don't know what he wants for it. And I go over to the booth, because I hadn't been that way yet, and it's sitting there, and I was like, yeah, so what were you thinking of this one? And he points to me. There was a GameStop sticker for $4.99 on the cover, and he's like, yeah, just, whatever I paid for it, I don't care. So I got it for $5 because of an old crusty GameStop sticker that was on the case. One of the few times I've ever been thankful for a GameStop sticker in my life. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, really fun find. Good to see, other collectors hooking each other up, looking out for each other as well. But just a funny find, because it's like, okay, based off the game sticker, I got this good one. And yeah, I would think this would probably be $100 on eBay, complete and everything, but Price Charts is a little conservative, so we'll just call it 94 like they say. But that's it for this video. Kind of a short one, but I figured kind of a fun challenge to try to figure out games I paid less than $10 for, that are worth 100 or more. So if you have any recommendations, I'd like to do these videos a little bit more of these. I have an idea for one where my best console deals I've ever done, but if you have any recommendations for this kind of semi-series, I guess, and I've done a couple ones where I'm just like showcase expensive games that I got for cheap, a couple ones that are showcase the most expensive games in my collection and the story behind them. And I'd like to kind of do these more in the future, just to kind of remember some funny old stories. But yeah, if you have any recommendations, leave them in the comments below. Leave anything else that you were thinking in the comments below. Put some brain rot down there. Don't care. Just, be cool. Subscribe if you're already subscribed. Follow me over on Twitter at Obju Gaming. Leave a like if you enjoyed, because it really helps out the channel. And until next time, I would like to thank you for watching.